Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 16th episode of Add Water and Stir. I am adoptive black mom, joined by in a special hotel edition, like remote undisclosed location, joined by complicated me Melody.
Hey everybody, this is Mimi from Complicated Melody, and yes, the family is on a road trip
Whoop, whoop.
today, so we
Oh,
decided to get out of town and go do something
nice.
randomly. You
Those are some of the best kinds of trips.
know, last minute.
Uh-oh.
So
Uh-oh, the
happy.
slow internet is getting you.
Is it? Okay, so what we decided to do is if I was going to have slow internet, I was going to turn off my camera. So I'm going to turn my camera off, and I'll just be a voice for the rest of the podcast.
Well, awesome. So, what's been going on? What's been going on with you prior to this impromptu road trip?
Us deciding to just get pack everything up and get on the road, which we one lost, forgot a lot of stuff. Usually I pack the night before and I'm really measured about okay, we need lotion and toothpaste. Today we just threw things in a bag and left, and we missed a lot of things, but we are blessed because we can just go to the Walgreens and get some. So hallelujah for that.
Yeah. So,
But besides that, I am hosting an adoption panel next Saturday. So I'm getting the word out and posting on Facebook and Twitter and all those places. So if you know anybody that's in Houston who even had a passing interest in adoption, let them know. Go to my blog, and it's posted
uh-oh.
www.complicatedmelody. Can you
One more
hear me?
time, www.complicatedmelody.com.
Yes, that's Melody with an I, and you can check out the poster for it. So
Yes.
that's the main things that's going on in my life. What about you?
Just white knuckling it. It's cold here, very cold in the mid-Atlantic DC area, and we got some snow Monday night, and we've been in a deep freeze. The kids have been out of school. They went to school today.
Okay.
And as someone said on their Facebook page, I saw in my feed last night, someone had posted if Jesus really loves the little children, he would send a heat wave. Because,
Why? So they can go to school?
yes, so they can go to school.
I heard it is hard to be cramped up in the house with some little ones.
It is it's hard to be cramped up in the house with somebody that's 5'7" too. So they don't have to be little.
Yes, ma'am. I believe it. I mean,
So
littler than you. So
right,
yes,
right.
but it sounds like she's not even smaller than you.
She's really not, but at least emotionally smaller if nothing else. But we had a long weekend anyway because of course it was President's Day, and so we went to visit some family over the weekend, and kind of hung out, and I've been like rain dancing praying for a snow day, but I didn't really need a few of them, and that wasn't exactly my prayer. And so being cooped up in the house with Hope and Yappy just kind of made me go running screaming to the office today. So, and we are starting a half hour later than what we originally advertised because Hope had a band concert that went on and on and on to the break of dawn. I thought it was never going to end. 6 bands with 3 selections each, and yeah, it was long. It was good. It was really great, but it was really long. And somewhere along the way, I kind of was looking at my watch, going, "I'm sorry, have I been sitting here for 3 hours?" Like,
I used to play violin, so now I'm remembering all the things I put my mother through, all these concerts and everything. So I
yeah, I am.
completely relate.
Yeah, I'm officially a band mom, and it's really cool. She's going to high school next year, so I want to know what she's going to do with the whole band thing. But they had the elementary school, the middle school, and the high school bands, and it was nice to hear the progression of how great they get, but it's hard for, I guess it's harder for the middle schoolers because they're like, ooh, great, the elementary school kids go first. Well, we sound better than them. And then the
Yes.
high school students go, and they're like, oh, we don't sound that good.
Not yet. Not yet. But you will. You will.
So yeah, all in time. So other than that, we're just dealing with regular teen stuff.
Well, I did have an update. We finally found a sitter, and Wood and I went out for Valentine's Day. We actually didn't go out on Valentine's Day because our sitter was going out with her husband. So she was like, I can't help you that day. So we went out on a Thursday. But it was really nice. We went to dinner and we went to go hear some live music. Um, and it's honestly been almost a year now since we actually Nana came to live with us. So us actually starting to go out on our own has been 10 months since we actually did this, right?
Mm.
And so we were really excited about it, but we had to keep looking at our watch like, okay, we got to be home by 11. I think we are just too excited because I think we could have stayed out till, the break of dawn if they would have let us, but we had to get home. So,
Well, over time you'll probably stretch it out a little bit, with some time. Because I remember when I first got the sitters, it was, oh, okay, I got to be home by like 9 o'clock. Okay, then 10 o'clock. Then, whew, I was doing something by 11:30. But now, we kind of stay out. So it's you'll get there. But good job, high five.
I know. I feel, like we treated ourselves. So, and we went out Monday too. We went out dancing. So
Oh,
two times, Thursday and Monday. Look at us.
watch out.
But honestly, you need a budget for this. You need a budget because you are spending, $50, $60 before you even walk out the door, basically. So
Yeah.
you really need a budget and you need to just commit to that. Like, that's how much I'm going to spend. That's part of our entertainment, and we feel okay about it.
Yeah, I've one of my I we talked about resolutions and stuff a few weeks ago, but it's not really a resolution, but I've cut back on some things that we just have in the house. I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that again anymore. And kind of trim the budget so that I can go out. Because when I go out, we seem to be happier. So,
Everybody was happier now that we've been going out. I'm like, we need to make this a weekly occurrence. So,
so yeah, the winter has kind of stumped me because I really need to get back into. I used to have somebody come twice a week, like a Tuesday or Thursday, and then a Friday or Saturday. Like, so it would either be like Tuesday and Friday or Thursday and Saturday. But not doing that. The winter, you just kind of want to hibernate, and Elihu has been working a lot, so just haven't kind of gotten into a winter groove. But spring is coming, like, yay! So yeah, so we have one viewer. Hello, shout out. Um,
hey,
hey, I've opened the chat. So drop us a note. Let us know what's going on. We'll also have Q&A that I'll be monitoring a little bit. And so why don't we get into what we're going to talk about tonight? So at the new year, I pitched a number of ideas, and one of the things for us to kind of talk about over the next couple of months, and one of the things that I wanted to for Mimi and I to talk about was motherhood is fantastic, comma. However, there are some,
however, but
but although there are some challenges in this transition to kind of insta motherhood, insta family, and sometimes we get into our feelings, and sometimes we kind of feel some kind of way, and I wanted to talk about not only the feelings piece, but kind of what are some of the struggles in terms of kind of real practical things that we might be grappling with. And I don't think that this is necessarily unique to adoption. Although I do think for me, just because some of the things that Hope and I have gone through in our transition, probably from a year ago, were probably not something that some other new families would necessarily go through, but um, but they're challenges nonetheless. And I think that some of these things really just transcend um, how you became a parent and just are really just parenting stuff. I guess you could say.
I'm sure. Yes. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to start off?
Well, sure. I do blog about some of my emotions in terms of coming to motherhood, and I think I posted something recently that kind of, I frequently question like, what am I doing? And it's not even that I'm questioning like, am I doing parenting right? It's just like, really, what the hell am I doing here? How did I get here? Like, in some ways, it happened so fast, and I'm just kind of like, what am I doing? And I don't know about you, but I certainly know that with um, new families, whether they're infants or adoption or toddlers or whatever, people who know that you're about to expand your family go, are you ready? And I think it's like the dumbest question ever. Of course, I'm not ready.
I don't even know what that means as far as ready. You can be ready from a logistic standpoint, right? Okay, I got the room, I got the stuff in the room, I have, daycare or schools lined up. I'm ready from that point. But I don't think you can really get ready because you don't know what you're in for until a child actually shows up. And I
Yeah,
don't think that's um, just adoptive parents, that's any parent, right?
yeah,
So even if someone who is walking around with a child in their stomach, I think still probably has feelings of unpreparedness or wondering if they have.
oh, you're breaking up a little bit. You
Can you
there?
still hear me? Am I
You were
still
in
here?
and out there, but it seems like you're back.
Well, I was just saying that even someone who's pregnant, probably still has flashes of those feelings of wondering if they're ready,
Yeah,
if they have everything ready, or if they are emotionally prepared to be a mother. I think motherhood, I mean, parenthood in general is just such a nebulous idea, and it means something different to everybody that you really, I don't know, it's just something you are also learning as you go.
yeah.
So.
Well, I think that everybody's learning, and I gave up parenting books for a while because the last one I read just ended in disaster. Uh,
I never even really got, I told you, I never got to that first parenting book. So,
Don't do it. Um, but I'm starting to kind of at least look at blogs that really talk about kind of raising adolescents, and but I wrestle with feelings not only of kind of unpreparedness and inadequacy, but also guilt. um like, did I do the right thing doing this, being a single, choosing to be a single mother? I have issues with how the world might see me, not knowing a backstory, and what does that mean. I have There are times when I feel a bit resentful about how my life has changed. And it's interesting because you do see some, especially in some of the blogs, some parents really kind of write about this kind of resentment, and then you have guilt on top of the resentment about feeling resentment and this kind of, gee, my life has changed so much, but we're always kind of expected to say, but this is the best thing ever. And parenthood is. I'm so happy to be a parent. My life has changed in ways that I never would have imagined, both so positive that some just transcends the word positive, but also in ways that I'm just kind of like, you've got to be kidding me. Is this for real?
hmm hmm
And so, there was an article, and I haven't been able to find it, but there was an article recently on Huffington Post about, um, this notion that parenting is really hard work, and it's okay to admit that sometimes it sucks.
So there was, I think I read the article that you're talking about. But I think part of it is parenting in the form that we're familiar with now is very hard work. There's just a lot of the end all be all to our children, and it requires so much intensity. There's a lot of pressure to be very intense and intentional about your parenting. You need to really be tethered to your child 24/7 to be continually focused on the present, what's happening in the here and now, and then also the future, to be good at scrapbooking and making sure you photograph everything and that looks good. You need to be making sure your child eats healthy meals and,
Uh,
cooking and organic recipes, that they're in the right activities at the right time, that you're limiting screen time, you know, that you're adding to the curriculum in school because the school is not doing enough, that you are a friend and I mean, it's just so much.
it's like,
Wow. That's amazing. I'm like, and I cannot keep up with it. That's why I'm always writing about things I'm failing at because honestly, I just feel like I don't like the feeling of failing at things. And so I do feel like there's a lot of pressure to do that. You know what? I actually planned. I got us some pictures. We took some family portraits around Thanksgiving. I ordered some. Well, I was supposed to order Christmas cards. I didn't get those done on time. I ordered some Happy New Year's cards. Do you know those are still sitting on my desk? Again, another thing that I failed at getting this perfect holiday picture of getting, sending it out. Like, look at us, we're perfect and happy and color coordinated. And so I feel like there's just so many things to
yeah,
to do as a parent. I just can't keep up with it all.
yeah, yeah, there's so much stuff to do, and it's I mean, yeah, just like I once the kids get to like middle school, they don't necessarily do parent teacher conferences where you go and like spend the day at the school, kind of going from, talking to the teacher and you spend that half hour or whatever. There's too many teachers. So, so of course it took me a semester to realize that there was no parent teacher conference. And I just needed to harass these people on a really
So you're like, well, why didn't I talk to your teachers? What's happening?
yeah, like, a while went by and I was like, they don't have one of those days, like, and it was like, "Oh, this is middle school. We don't do that. Like, you gotta like, and it was funny because Hope also kind of came from this environment where um one of her foster parents worked at the school, and so there didn't need to be a parent teacher conference anyway because he was always there. So she was like, well, why would you talk to my teacher? And she also didn't understand that I could have a relationship in terms of communicating with her teacher without her. Like, so it was funny because I don't know if you've seen that commercial where Brian Gumbel and Katie Couric are talking about the internet. What is the internet? Like, is it new? Do you touch it? Like, what do
Yes,
you look at it or
yes,
whatever?
yes. Which is
Well,
very funny.
it's really funny, but it's like really interesting because Hope was shocked that I would find out information firsthand from her teacher before she even got home from school. It was like magic.
Like, how did you know I was late to class today?
Right. But then, then it became this I got like 7 or 8 people that I got to keep up with and kind of like, okay, check in. Hey, did I get this progress report? Hey, did I sign that? Hey, how is she doing? Hey, what's going on? Oh, we had a behavioral issue. I mean, and so many teachers to keep up with. So, I see some of these people, these parents, and they're like, they're the room mother even in middle school and they're making teacher gifts and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I just don't even have the wherewithal to get them a $5 like Starbucks card. Like, I just can't even get it together to do
I know. It was Valentine's Day, and Nana brought me a Valentine's bag, and I was like, oh, was I supposed to get your teacher something? Oh, man. One more thing that I missed out on. Was I supposed to make cards for the kids? Like, my housekeepers came over, and they were like, yeah, we make chocolates and everything. And I was like, what?
Okay, that was a
The
parent.
expectation, too. How come nobody's telling me? Where is the book? I need a friend. Okay, so I'm putting this out into the atmosphere. Somebody needs to email me 2 weeks in advance. Let me know so I can put it on the calendar. These are things you need to be doing. It's Valentine's Day. It's Teacher Appreciation Month. You know, all these little things that I just don't know, not aware of. Help me out.
Well, I'm kind of vaguely aware of them, and I have one friend who I'm really, really close to, and she is so great. I mean, her child is still in elementary school, but she is so great about remembering all the little details and having like little gifts and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay, like I got us out the house, and we didn't kill each other. That's a win for today. Like that's it. Like I'm tapped out.
So what is it? Why are we feeling so overwhelmed and some other mothers are able to manage that?
I think
Is
that
it just that we don't have an interest in that piece of it?
I think that it's a couple of things. One, we have not prioritized that because it's just not that important to us. I mean, you do the things that are like really important, and we just haven't gotten to that space for whatever reason. And it may be that we're just not built that way. It may be how we came to motherhood that we're still kind of wrestling with that process. The stuff, I don't know. I'm just kind of putting it out there. And then it's just, it just falls off the back of the list at the stove. Like it just just it might make the list. There's a fleeting thought at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, but by 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday it's gone.
Well, you know what? I don't think I have any mom friends who are doing those things either,
Mm.
right? So I don't have any mom friends that I'm checking in. Well, first of all, I don't talk on the phone that much anymore, but any mom friends that are telling me, "Oh yeah, I'm at the store because I'm getting Valentine's Day cupcakes," or I can question that, like, "Oh, is that is that a thing now? Should I be doing that too?" I don't have anybody. So the friends that I have are similar to me. Like, say what now? What's happening? Is it pajama day again? You know, the friends, the friends that I have are the same way as me. So maybe we're just all trifling.
Yeah, it's so, here's the other thing. I mean, as I don't think that any of our forgetfulness or lack of prioritization or not being hip to the parenting mom, like, pajama day game is, I don't think it's unique. I mean, I think it's just a parenting issue. And some folks, I think I've come to also realize, because I go on field trips, I chaperone a number of field trips. I'm taking this semester off because it's just too many of them. But I go really not so much to spend time with Hope, but to actually connect with other parents. And I learned so much. And I learned that their lives are kind of screwy too.
Well, maybe that's what it is, right? So you just cannot compare your life to Pinterest. You
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 can't.
can't compare your life to Facebook. You can't compare your life to a blog because all you are getting very specific snapshots
Yeah.
in time of someone's life.
And
So
even
that's really what it boils down to.
yeah, even more than just snapshots, these are curated collections. It's like a museum. And it's like, here's our life, this is what it's like. And we'll talk about, I guess, Ratchet TV later, but there was, I guess, maybe on last week's episode or week before, I can't remember, maybe it's last week's episode of Being Mary Jane, where Mary Jane is talking to someone, and she's like, I want the life that you have on Instagram.
Yeah, I saw that. And the
you
lady
know
was like, "You can't have my life."
You can't have my life. You go get your own. And so, but I think she also kind of hints that maybe it's just, that it's a curated image of her
Sh-
life as well.
She did because at that point she also mentioned, well, I mean, Instagram isn't going to show you the argument that we had in the car
Right,
on the way over to your house.
right.
Instagram isn't going to show the messy times where I dropped the ball or I forgot something or we got mad at each other or I yelled at my kids. You know, it's not going to show any of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really not. But I think that, what I find when I go on the field trips and I talk to other parents is that everybody's got their stuff and that they're wrestling with and they're trying to figure out and navigate, what's the right path? Am I doing it right? Am I not doing it right? Um, Gee, I'm stressed out, or, I'm just kind of winging it and I'm okay with winging it. I've accepted it. So, one of the things, and I think on a post a long time ago, I posted this Tumblr, a link to this Tumblr, and there's funny stuff on this Tumblr and not so funny stuff, and it's parenting confessional at for parentingconfessional.tumblr.com, and basically you can email um, the person that runs this particular Tumblr account with your parenting confession. And some of them are really funny and some of them are really sad.
Yeah. I've never read that though, actually.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, some of it, it's interesting. It's people kind of saying, I did dumb stuff, or um, here's some things that I'm struggling with. Um, Family issues. I mean, there's one I'm scrolling by now. My teenage daughter stole my boyfriend.
Mm.
We're just gonna leave that right there. But I'm
Womp
just
womp.
scrolling. Just,
That's no bueno. So,
yeah.
but I think what might be helpful too is to continue to focus on the motherhood is great part versus the but part. So, if I think about it in that format, like motherhood is great, put a period there, and then I don't always get that right, but the good thing is that I continue to have opportunities to continue to try again and get better, right? So
Mhm.
tomorrow, if it's not today, I just couldn't do it today. I didn't get it right today. But tomorrow, I'm going to put down my phone. I'm going to get down on the floor and play. I'm going to focus completely on my child. I'm going to, you know, play dress up with her. I'm going to read her, 5 books today in a row. I'm going to speak lovingly all the time. I'm going, all these things. I always have a chance to redo those things and just continue to get better. Sometimes when we focus on the but part, man, that can be a drag because the but part, ooh, that part can be so negative, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's important to focus on the good part. I do think that it's healthy to acknowledge that it's hard. That's not necessarily focusing on the negative, but just acknowledging that it's hard. And there was an article that I came across on empoweringparents.com, and the title of the article is Am I a Bad Parent? How to Let Go of Parenting Guilt. And, someone,
I like
the
that. I like that title.
yeah, right. And so the author, Janet Lehman, looks like she's a social worker. She writes, that she kind of gets these letters that say, I'm supposed to know how to make my child behave, but I don't. He's out of control and people blame me for his behavior. I feel guilty, ashamed most of the time. I'm very alone. It's the worst feeling in the world. So, you can take out behavior and, or whatever and substitute whatever parenting struggle in case you might have. And her response is really, I mean, it's not even complicated. She goes, "The truth is you're not supposed to know everything about being a parent. It's a skill you have to learn just like anything else. While there's no right way to parent, there are more effective ways to handle, your child's behavior in that particular example, or there are effective ways of parenting in general." And I think that that, one of the things that we're struggling with, and it's funny because I'm actually hearing magnetic rollers like jump around on the floor like Mexican jumping beans in another room because Hope is trying to roll her hair and she's convinced that she can't do it, and this is her struggle. This is her struggle live. Like this is happening live, right? Um, but I've been flat ironing her hair, and she expects me to roll it every night, and I'm like, girl. Like, look at this. I'm not rolling hair. I'm tired of this. Like, you need to do this. And so I told her tonight she needed to roll her hair while we were doing the show. And I hear rollers like every 2 seconds falling on the floor, like snapping off. And like, so I'm sure she's going to be in a mood when they get off of here. Um, but just like I told her, look, you just have to practice and you'll just keep working at it every day and you'll get better or you'll will figure out a different way of doing things. And parenting is the same way. And so, it is about trying to figure out how do you enjoy this experience and not letting the struggles really kind of drag you down.
I think your blog does a really good job of that, actually, of highlighting all those good things and good experiences that you have with Hope, the learnings that you gleaned from yourself going through those experiences and from Hope's perspective, while being very honest about this is not always rainbows and puppies and all those good things. There's challenges in each of those experiences.
Yeah. So, well, thank you.
That's my kudos to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I do, for me, I will say that the blog is very, it forces me to reflect a lot on our journey and kind of going, okay, well, I kind of messed that up. Let me sit down and kind of reflect and pontificate and kind of say, this is, what I think it might be the takeaway and how I might handle something different. Um, so yeah, well, thank you. So I appreciate that. So there are a couple of other sites that I will put out there. There's one that I will put out specific to my situation about single mom gripes, and that's from parenting.com. And it's funny because it also touches on this kind of you're a single mom and how people kind of interpret that, but also specifically how men interpret that. And it's really funny because it's like some of the examples that this author, whose name is, did she give her name? Yeah, Christy Coppa of, I guess, the blog Mama's Boy. And she talks about, she's like, when guys ask me to hang out at night during the same day. So I'm a single mom. I don't have somebody that I can tag out, but you want to just meet for happy hour today.
Just like, hey, what are you doing? You want to hang out tonight?
Yeah.
Go get a drink? Can't do it.
And I'm learning how to stop the mental gymnastics and learn how to just go, no, I mean, it can't happen. Or, I don't have this particular issue, but I guess one of them was, hey, I'll just bring a bottle of wine over after your kid goes to sleep and we can hang out. Oh, I'm trying to go to bed. Like I'm exhausted. And so anyway, I'll put a link to that. One thing that is on that one that I think is interesting, and I think that certainly people make some of these assumptions about this with single parents, but I think that as you transition to parenthood, and people are really excited, but if you have friends that are not transitioning or haven't transitioned, but you're kind of at this break point where you're joining the crowd that maybe already is married with kids or whatever. There are people that maybe you might now be leaving behind that assume your life is hard, boring, or depressing.
Oh, that's absolute. I don't think that's just relevant to just parents. I think that happens when you get married.
Yeah,
But definitely when you become a parent, there is just an assumption that you just, one, can't do anything.
right,
Well, give me a little time, a heads up. I can make some things happen.
right.
But then that everything is just a drag, like just drudgery, which is just completely not true in our case.
Yeah. Oh my God, a picture just fell off the wall. Like it is this hair rolling situation is so
I'm just imagining Hope, rolling these rollers in her head and bumping into walls and bouncing things off. This is
like
quite hilarious,
I'm so in for an epic meltdown when I get off of here. Like I'm it's almost scary, but I'm just kind of like I need you to watch some YouTube videos and get the rollers in your hair. It's crazy. Anyway,
This is all part of the teenager. You have to learn how to do your hair. That's it.
you learn how to do it. So, yeah, there are a couple of articles that I will be including in the show notes about um, parenting gripes, and just these are just articles about parentings that are parents that are really kind of just like it's just it's tough. It's great, and it's like the best job you'll ever have, and all those kind of things. But that doesn't necessarily mean that every day is great. It's not sunshine and rainbows and unicorns every day. But maybe out of the 7 day week, it's 3.5 days of rainbows and unicorns. And some days, some weeks, you might get really lucky and it's 5 days.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
This is just came to my mind is, we kind of assume that about work. Like work is work. Some things you're gonna like about work and some things you don't like about work. And that's just a normal expectation of everybody. But why is that with parenting? We feel like we need to explain this
Hmm.
multiple times. Like, yeah, it's great. It is. It really is great. But, you know, it's work. You know, is what's the underlying reason behind needing to have this explanation or rationale behind what we say? Is it because this is kind of taboo to say? I mean, people are fine if you say I hate my job. That's the expectation. But if you say something negative about your parenting, then there's maybe a lot of judgment behind it. Is that the reason why we need to make these kind of dual statements?
I think that it is the fear of judgment. I think it's the fear of judgment. And I do think that there are some parents that feel beholden to that fear of judgment a little bit more than others. But I know for me, in my experience, I frankly am very fearful of being judged by the people who know me on my on the ground life because I've already had some people that I'm like, man, it's just been a really rough month, it was so tough or whatever, and they're like, okay, but like you had a choice and you chose to go down this path. It's not even like you chose to get pregnant, like, or try to get pregnant. You went out and adopted a kid, so why are you complaining? I don't want to hear it. Like, you should be happy. Don't you have everything you want?
I do understand that because I definitely get it. Um, but do we do the same thing for any? Why is parenting that thing that is the lightning rod that people do that to? Do we do that about jobs? Like, well, you chose to work there, so if you don't like it, quit. We just have an expectation that no, you need the part of working is part of living. That's just part of what it means to have a life. But maybe parenting is one of those things now where it's like, well, that's a choice.
Hmm.
And on one side are the people who choose it, and on the other side are the people who don't. And so once you choose it, then you just don't have any leeway to speak ill about it at all. And that is just too stringent.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that it's that, and I also think that it has to do with the false expectations that are created by the highly curated public lives that we lead. I think that the rise of technology and social media has really changed the way that we think about how we want our lives to be seen and portrayed. And so, we don't post the, you might post, you might post that everybody in the house has the stomach flu, but it's really a funny post. Funny, haha, excuse me, funny, haha, gross, ha 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 ha, snicker snicker. But it's not like, wow, that is really messed up. It's not. You don't see the underbelly of that. We all kind of know it, but the way that it's portrayed, and the way that we kind of now have the skill of kind of putting it out there, it's like, oh, everybody's got, stomach flu. Oh, that really sucks, but he, we know what's going on at your house, rather than this is the worst day of my entire life.
Well, let it be known, I'm rebuking this. I'm rebuking these parental expectations. And I know because I'm a product of society, I will continue to fall prey to those and I will continue to fall under the guilt. But when I remember, I'm rebuking it. I'm sending it backwards. I don't want it, because it's just way too much pressure. And I put enough pressure on myself with all the other things I have going on. Um, this is one of the most important jobs that I have, and I do want to do a good job of it, but I don't need all the extra from all of everybody else.
Yeah. Well, and I think, and I do wonder whether or not the extra, well, I do believe that the extra prevents us from really enjoying parenting. I mean, really
Absolutely.
enjoying it and just being in the moment and relaxing into it, and, just being okay with some days are going to be better than others. But, it's not just the day to day stuff, but it's the week to month to year, to years journey that really is more important.
Well, we're going to bind that up and throw it away. So,
Bind it
moving
up.
on.
I got some sage. Like,
Get some sage.
I got some.
Cleanse
I got some. I
these
got some
spirits
sage.
up out of
Just
here.
like, burn a little sage on that and get rid of the parenting, the unrealistic parenting expectations, and
Exactly.
and maybe take a break from you know the curated lives on social media, because I don't think it
Absolutely.
helps us. So
Absolutely.
we are at 10:45, so I think that that's a great place to kind of wind down that conversation and wind up.
Wind up to the wind down. Let's get it. What have you been watching over there?
Well, since we had snow days, and I got rid of a whole bunch of our cable, and now we have Hulu. I'm able to watch things like the next day, because sometimes on demand is a little slower than that. So I'm all caught up on Empire. I'll have to watch tonight's Scandal, but I'm caught up on Scandal. I am. What else have I watched? Oh, I watched all of the episodes yesterday, I think, of Fresh Off the Boat. I don't know if you've seen that show.
I have not seen that show, but I did get your note that it was pretty interesting, that perspective, the new perspective.
Yeah, yeah, it is kind of the 1990s worldview of um, a first generation Chinese American, um, 12-year-old, 12, 13-year-old boy. And I think it's really funny. I think it's really funny. And he's kind of, he likes rap music. And so he's got this kind of like, he's wearing like, Easy E t-shirts. And like he's got all of this like stuff, and he's trying to figure out ways of fitting in. To his family just moved to Florida, from I think DC, and he's trying to find ways of fitting in to his new environment, which is far less diverse than his previous home in DC. And I mean, and it deals with everything like his mom packing him traditional Chinese lunches, and how the kids are like, okay, what you got for lunch?
Like, what is that?
And he's like, it's Chinese food. And they're like, yeah, it didn't come out of one of those boxes. Like, what is that? And And I mean, it's just really funny, and it kind of deals with some of the some Asian tropes and stereotypes, and kind of how he's trying to shake some of that off as he tries to figure out this period of coming of age. One just as an adolescent, but also as a person of color. Whose parents were immigrants, and it's just really it's a funny show. It's funny. It's really funny. I would say it's almost like it's very it's I didn't realize that this show was on ABC, but I see ABC is kind of trying to work something here with Blackish and Fresh Off the Boat. They kind of got a thing, so definitely I
They're
would
trying to give you
recommend
some new perspectives here. Is that what it is?
new perspectives and new voices. So definitely check it out. Caught up on Blackish. Yes, I've had a couple of days to kind of catch up on some TV.
Well, I haven't watched Blackish, but I have been into Empire lately, which has definitely given me my you know, guilty pleasure, I guess, of just entertaining TV that maybe not be extra great, but I'm just loving watching Taraji Henson
Ooh,
on this show.
Cookie is so bad. You
Oh,
you love to. I mean, you can't even hate her. Like she's authentic and brash, and she just doesn't care, and she knows what she knows, and
and she's what she does, right? So for all the talk that she has, she's able to back it up
yeah,
with the work that she does. So,
yeah. So yeah, so I definitely like Empire. And I don't know if you've seen this week's episode, but bada bing, bada bow. The last couple of minutes, if you haven't seen it, like check it out. Um,
oh, with Anika coming into the house.
yes, yes,
Yes. So yes, check that out. It's very interesting. It's very soapy,
it is.
but very interesting at the same time.
Well,
I've also been watching Being Mary Jane, right? It's interesting because I hope I never acted like this, but I do remember. So the last episode of Being Mary Jane needed closure. So I don't know, she was acting crazy, right? She was just going up to her ex's friends and asking them what's going on and why he's with this woman and what's the situation. This is the episode before last, and they just wouldn't tell her, you know. They were kind of like afraid of her, like, I'm really not privileged to say all this information, and maybe you should talk to him directly and everything. And I just remember, but I wasn't 40 because I think Mary Jane is 38. I was 21 and doing something like that, being like, "Oh, I have this ex," and I'm like, "What's going on with him? And how come no?" And people were giving me that same scared look, like, "We don't want to talk to you about this." And so I definitely remember that. But if you haven't watched Mary Jane, I would definitely go watch that.
yeah, age wise, maturity wise, I don't get the connection to 38. It scares me because it makes me, because I'm like, now I know that I had some moments that I'm not particularly proud of in, like, the crazy relationship land, kind of thinking about stuff. But I'd like to think that it was contained inside my head.
Well,
It didn't spill out into people's driveways with kitchens.
when I watched the episode, I was like, "Oh man, was I really acting like this?" Because the look that they were giving her was the look that people were giving me, and I was like, maybe I was wacko like she was, but I chalk it up to age, my
Yeah.
youth, my youthful indiscretion.
Yeah. So, but it does get to that point, that place of kind of wondering, like, how did she get to 38 and nobody kind of, where are her real girlfriends? Like, for real, real girlfriends that have checked her. Like, because this is kind of late in the game at 38 to kind of to
Well,
crazy.
how many people have, especially at this age, unless you have a friend that's been your friend since college, how
Hmm.
many people are really developing those type of relationships in their 30s,
Yeah.
where they can really give you the real deal, like, girl, this is not okay. I don't know if that's
Mm,
happening. I had a friend call me the other day and she was really distraught and she told me I'm just lonely. I
mm,
just have such a hard time making friends over 30, like in my age range. And
mm.
I said, yeah, it is hard. Once you get to this point, you can make associates, but it is hard to get a friend.
Yeah, I definitely think you're right. And I think that once you get married, the game changes. Once you have kids, the game changes. And you kind of, some people get left behind and you kind of are searching for new connections. And you're right. It's really hard to develop those relationships because they require a lot of time and nurturing. It's another relationship. And so, yeah, maybe she doesn't have some of those longevity kind of you know, things, those people in her life to really kind of check her because
She also strikes me as the person who doesn't listen, even if you did, though.
true, true. So, but I will say with all of these shows, one of the things that I'm really happy to see is that scripted TV is back.
Hallelujah, because I am so tired of reality.
Yeah,
I'm through with them. I want them to stop acting a fool.
yeah,
I'm just okay, but I don't know. Is it better to have like scripted TV? I think it's better to have scripted TV and people acting a fool versus reality.
yeah. I need a fantasy, and so seeing people that this is supposed to be their life, even though it's still somewhat scripted. I'm really excited to see scripted TV back, and I'm really excited to see so many different hues and voices in scripted TV. I mean, good quality scripted TV, and not just some ragtag and muffin stuff.
Well, I think the good part about this too is because you look at Tracy Ellis Ross's character, we look at Kerry Washington's character, we would Gabrielle Union's character. These are all three very different black women,
Mhm.
right? They all are completely different, and I'm happy to see that we're able to show kind of some multitude of how we can express ourselves. So
Yeah,
we don't now have to just have this one way of being. You kind of have layers here.
yeah. Yeah. So, and one show I guess that I'm not watching just because it just the time back and forth was jumping that the show did. It was How to Get Away with Murder. Of course, another scripted show featuring a lot of characters of color. The reviews are great, and Mother Cicely Tyson was on the show apparently tonight, and Twitter is blowing up about her. And yeah, so I'm gonna have to catch that on the replay. I don't really watch that show as much. For some reason, I couldn't get into it, but I might have to peep it now that Mother Cicely is on it.
Oh, well, I didn't know Mother Cicely was on it, so maybe I'll have to check it out. I couldn't get into that show either.
Yeah.
I watched probably most of the first season or first half, or it's so confusing now. Like, what are these half seasons and winter breaks? I don't understand what's happening. But anyway, I watched the first part, and I just couldn't get into it. I don't watch Scandal anymore anyway. I kind of left Shonda Rhimes alone.
Oh.
Sorry, I have. I just can't get with her anymore.
Well, I am still a gladiator, so I'll be peeping that this weekend. It's too late tonight to watch it, but I will be. I still watch it. I fall out of Grey's Anatomy, and like I said, How to Get Away with Murder. I just the way that it was introduced with lots of flashbacks and stuff. I'm not really good at time tracking like that.
And
So
it was too dark. It was too, like, not, I don't mean dark in as far as the emotions, but I mean actually dark. Like, I couldn't really see what was happening on the screen.
it
Like,
was the
like,
lighting.
what is happening?
Yeah, a lot of it was filmed like outside in the dark in the woods and all this stuff. And so yeah, you're right. So yeah, it was just kind of hard to watch. So, but I might have to try to get back in and try it again. So there's that. So we are at 3 minutes to 11. Do you have any shout outs before we wrap up?
I don't have any real shout outs. Again, I am enjoying being Mary Jane, so I say watch that show. And I also say repost my post about my adoption panel. If you know anybody in Houston, feel free to do that.
Yes, yes, yes. Check that out. The date is February 28th.
Yes, it is next Saturday.
Yes, next Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Yes, I'm doing it in conjunction with the Spalding Agency for Children, which happens to be the agency that we adopted Nana from. So we are very happy with them and very supportive of them. However, there will be people from other agencies there. There are going to be adoptive parents there to speak about the real deal. I'll be there as your host and moderator. So come through.
Woo. So, yeah, go check out Mimi live and in person.
Hmm.
So yeah, well, good deal. Let's see. I've got some new followers, and thank you. I've noticed on the stats that some folks are like reading way, way back and diving back into the archives. So
Hey,
whoever
that's great.
Yes, whoever you are, thank you, and let me know what you think. And special thanks to Tao, as always, a wonderful adoptee blogger. I always love hearing from her. I wrote a piece last weekend on. I said I wasn't going to write about 50 Shades of Grey, but no one was talking about this kind of adoption narrative that runs through the story, and how one of the main characters was adopted and an older adoptee and abused and all this kind of stuff, and nobody was kind of talking about it, so I kind of wrote a piece on that, and it's gotten a little bit of attention, so thanks for people being kind, because like a lot of stuff written about 50 Shades is just, it's a crazy set of books. Anyway, I'll leave that there. And
Hmm.
I am prepping a post for America Adopts as a guest blogger, so be on the lookout for that in the next week or so.
Hey, awesome.
Yeah. So where can
We're
they?
doing things.
Yeah, we're doing things. We're doing things. Hosting and blogging. So, Mimi, where can they find you in the E streets?
You can find me on my blog every once in a while. I'm starting to post a little bit more. We'll continue to work on that. Complicatedmelody.com. That's melody with an I. I'm on Twitter at Mimi Complex. And you can email me at complicatedmelody@gmail.com.
Awesome. You can find me at adoptiveblackmom.com, at adoptiveblackmom@gmail.com if you are interested in emailing me. I do try to respond to every email. And you can hit me up on the Twitters as well at adoptiveblackmom there as well. So thanks for joining us, and share, rate us, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, or thumbs up on YouTube, leave us a message, and send us some positive feedback, and your constructive criticisms, but like, we really want to hear the good stuff too. So give us a
Mhm.
5-star review,
Mhm.
and we will certainly shout you out and chat with you on the next episode. So we will see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining. See you then.
Bye. Good night.